ururka isbahaysiga Soomaaliyeed ee Minnesota ee loo yaqaan Confederation Somali Community of Minnesota iyo aqoon-yahanada Soomaaliyeed aba laba luqadlaha ayaa maanta waxay madasha safari ugu sameeyeen xaflad ay ku sagootiyaan hawlgabnimada ama shaqo ka fariisiga Meredith Davis oo iyada taariikh dheer ku leh waalka Soomaaliyeed oo ubadkooda ay dhigtaan bulshada dadweynaha Minneapolis. waxaad daawan doontaan madasha sida loo agaasimay ee loogu sagooteeyo Meredith Davis oo iyadu ah qof muddadii ay ka shaqaynaysay dugsiga Sanford ilaa iyo dadaal xoogan samaysay habkii ay wax uga qaban lahayd dadka luqadda Ingiriisigu ay u tahay afka labaad ama afka aqoon-yahanada Soomaaliyeed iyo laba luqadayaasha Soomaaliyeed ee ka shaqeeya Minneapolis ayaa xafladda u diyaariyey Meredith Davis iyo qoyskeeda iyagoo uga mahadcelinaya dadaalkii iyo waxqabadkii ay u soo qabatay dadka Soomaalida ee iyagu macnaheedu yahay mahadsanid kii nala jiraan la jirnaa kii naga jiraan la jirnaa. waa mahadsan tahay Meredith Davis. sidaa iyo daawasho wacan arki doontaan wakiilo kala duwan ee bulshada oo iyagu madashaasi joogay oo dhab ahaantii ahayd meel aad loo qorxiyey ayna ka muuqan karto dareen qiiro iyo farxad islamarkaasna muujinaysa diirada ay Soomaalidu u hayso qofkii u dadaala iyaga iyo kuwatooda. sidaa iyo daawasho wacan. asalaamu calaykum waraxmatullaahi wabarakaatu.
School for the last 11 years, and Sanford as also assistant principal years. I was working at Sanford and did the leadership and supervision of Ms. Davis. So tonight we are going to start our program by Quran recitation.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل أعوذ برب الناس ملك الناس إله الناس من شر الوسواس الخناس الذي يوسوس في صدور الناس من الجنة والناس.
Welcome you to this important meeting where we honor Principal Meredith Davis. It's very important for the Somali community. You have helped ELL students and you have kept the school very inclusive. It was the first school that taught Somali language. There were Somali teachers in the school. There was also a lot of programs that helped our children. I remember at one time the Minneapolis public schools had the idea to close Sanford University. And all the Somali community was in arms, and almost we used to meet almost like for 3 months we were meeting about to keep the school open. Here is that the English version of this award doesn't like the Somali version. We have limitless efforts in welcoming Somali families and making Sanford Middle School the most inclusive school there is in America. So, thank you very much. I thought Meredith is a great person. She's a big woman, so let's give her the life certificate. Thank you.
Yes, oh, wonderful. So do I wear it on my last day at Sanford?
That would be great. Yes.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you very much.
And my favorite color. They know you. Oh, lovely. Thank you very, very much.
Meredith Davis and William Davis. To the Somali community as well as the superintendent representative. Before she says that word, I will tell you a bit about her background. Few notes I have here. Meredith Davis worked in this field of education for 42 years, a little less than I did. She was in this period of time teaching, reading, English, social studies, special education, and ESL in over 7 districts. She has also served as an equity specialist for the Kansas State Department of Education and as curriculum director and assistant principal in other districts in Minnesota. She was born here in Minneapolis and has lived several Midwestern states as well as in Japan and Thailand. So that is one reason why she can understand diversity. The American community, those who are so open to be acquainted and who read the diversity are those who travel abroad. Myself, I knew about the family well, being close, working with her for 13 years. So I know many names of the family, although I don't remember all, so a good number of them are here. I heard a lot about Joy, about Eric, about Adam, about John, their spouse. I came to Sanford in 1996, and 2 years after, that is in 1998, Meredith came as assistant principal. She was now 11 years a principal at that school. In the 2 years before she was principal, I worked with 3 principals and 4 interim principals. Then you can see the reflection and understand what type of leadership there is. What did you know about Somali or Somalis before you came to Sanford? And what do you know about them now?
Thank you very much for coming. It's wonderful to see all of you, and I appreciate your having the dinner. It makes me both happy, and then I start thinking about many of the stories, and I get a little sad. You know, Saeed and I used to, I would talk to the children and he would translate, but I would say maybe 3 sentences, and Saeed's translation took 5 minutes. So when he said he was just going to speak a few words before mine, I got nervous. It is true. He asked me to talk about what I knew about Somalia when I came to Sanford. And the honest answer is I knew where it was on the map, because I like maps and geography. But that was all I did. He asked me a second question, and that was I was to tell you what I have learned in the 15 years that I have been at Sanford. And so I thought about it. I learned quickly a lot about Somalis and Somali culture, and I had so much fun learning. You know, it's very nice the things that Saeed and Abdullahi said, but it was all my pleasure and my enjoyment as I learned all those things. And then also, Somalis use a lot of gestures and emotion when they talk. So even though I couldn't understand Somali, I understood a lot anyway. So these are the things that I have thought about and that I have learned. I have learned that Somalis are warm, friendly, confident, extremely talkative, hardworking, and wonderful human beings. And I mean that very, very sincerely. A couple different times we've been at community meetings, and you know, the meetings of course start slowly because I'm there at the time that I'm supposed to be there, and you know, an hour later the meeting starts. And then the meeting is like this. It is very nice and formal, and then it ends, and all the Somalis start talking and getting together, and a couple times I know or Sami or Mr. Abdi would come up to me and I could tell he was like nervous, thinking it was too noisy and too much commotion. What else I have learned is I've learned that they're very dedicated to their culture, to education, and to making a new life in this country. I have had the folks at Sanford come into my office and tell me things, and my mouth just, you know, drops open. It's hard for me to even understand what are some of the things that they have gone through. But you all have such a positive spirit. And I've appreciated and learned a lot about Islam. And what else? And I've just learned a lot about Somalis. And so I just really appreciate that. And I certainly don't want this to be the end of my connection with the Somali community. It was a couple years ago, and it was in December, and I was sitting in my office after lunch, kind of, most of the day is done. And all of a sudden I heard yelling and talking and very loud noise outside my office. And of course, I'm a middle school principal, so I assumed there was a fight. And so I put on my kind of mean look to go out there. And I went outside my office and I looked up the stairs where the noise was coming from. And it wasn't a fight. It was a lot of newly arrived Somali girls who were seeing snow for the first time. And it was the big, you're Minnesotans now, so you understand. It was those big, fluffy flakes, and it was very hard, and they were just screaming with delight and enjoying it, and it was just wonderful. I just appreciated that. I'm so impressed with all of the Somali community, and they're dear to my heart. Especially you three that are here now, and all the other people like that.
First of all, thank you for the invitation, and certainly on behalf of the superintendent. This is such an honor to be here, certainly with you, and of course with Meredith and her family. It's clear, definitely, that not only her family respects and loves her, but she has such an incredible extended family. And so, thank you for that. It's such a privilege, as I said, to be here. You've known Meredith much longer than I have. I've known her for about a year and a half, as I've come from Chicago to work with Sanford, and I'm still learning many of the things about Sanford, and of course about the Somali culture and your experiences. But a couple things that I have learned in my time as an educator, having the great fortune to work with well over 100 principals in my career. Meredith Davis is one of the best. What is absolutely clear is her commitment and her desire for children. And I think that's absolutely evident, and I think that's what you have recognized. Her tireless efforts, her desire to do only one thing, and that is to serve children. That is a rarity, and that is absolutely a blessing. So, I know we're hungry, but I do want to say, certainly on behalf of the superintendent and MPS, we are absolutely sad to see Meredith go. We thank her for her service. And we know that we have absolutely big shoes to fill in getting the best possible person to come into Sanford. And I want to say, Meredith, it has been an absolute pleasure learning about you. I did not know many of these things, but every page that turns here, I'm absolutely impressed. To have this group of distinguished people care as much about you and about your service speaks volumes. So thank you again. It's a pleasure being here. And thank you.
My name is Abdul Kadir Saeed. I would like to entertain the host and the hostess and the musician, Somali composer, and welcome and enjoy.
Okay.